Hey everyone, this is Corine La Font, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago on Between the Lines. And you know, I always start my show off the same way, so if you're bored with it, then you need to switch off my show, but it's the only way I go. Yeah? I start my show off with gratitude.
Mm.
It's the only way I operate. Yeah, it's the only way I operate. I'm always, always thankful. You know, and I tell people in good or in bad, and I it's not a matter of bad. I don't think anything is bad. I think everything is for a lesson. If everything is for a lesson, it's for you to learn, and it's for you to ask the universe what it is you're trying to teach me, and be
Mm-hmm.
submissive and obedient to that lesson so that you can hear what the lesson is and be open to the lesson. I am so thankful for being here. I'm here not meaning on my show. I mean here meaning alive above ground to see another day. No matter
Yeah.
what is happening around, before, after, on the side, or with me, around me, doesn't matter. I am thankful because I know that time is going to tick, the end of the day is going to come, darkness
Mm-hmm.
is going to strike, and light is going to come. And once I know that, I'm good. I'm good. I have the faith and I believe in that. Yes, this is not anything religious. This is just my belief, my convictions, my values. And it is hope that whoever is listening to this would subscribe to that type of thinking, because negative thinking really, I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's just not the way to go. It doesn't
Yeah.
help you. It doesn't, the whole thing about worry and fret and quarrel and fighting is just not in my DNA. So I really cannot, um, I want to say understand,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not of that thinking. So if you're trying to convince me to go that way, it's not going to work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to convince you to go the positive way because it works. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a beautiful woman here with me. Now, look here on my show. I can tell you this is a fact. You can test it out if you wish. All the people on my show are beautiful. That now I start telling them they're giving me competition. Really. But it's a good competition. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good competition, which I don't mind, because that means to say birds of a feather, like I said to Dr. Hannah a while ago, flock together. And she said to me, you get what you attract. So clearly, I'm one of those nice, sexy birds, attracting with beautiful wings, and I'm attracting beautiful people on my show. So God, I'm thankful. Yes. Let
Yeah.
me let me tell you a bit about Dr. Michelle Hanna. But before that, we're talking about divorce the fake self and marry the authentic you. Let me say that again. Divorce the fake self and marry the authentic you. Now, this is a kind of heavy topic. I don't know if we'll be able to manage it in 30 minutes, but we're going to give it a go. And if she needs to come back, well, clearly she has to come back with her lovely self. Let me tell you a bit about her while she's looking on there. So, Dr. Michelle R. Hanna, through her life's medical challenges and overwhelming love for humanity, the health, emotional well-being of people, and commitment to living authentically is among the most influential women today. Michelle's family, education, and personality molded her for life as a resounding voice for the broken-hearted and those that desire to be free. Free. Michelle's remarkable spirit, determination, motivation, and personal experiences are the building blocks of our respect for human dignity and social change. Born and raised in Southern California, she received her undergraduate degree in psychology, her MBA, and a master's degree in teaching and learning with technology. Recently, she received a doctorate in spiritual counseling. Michelle's public speaking spans over 15 years and is the author of The Breaking Point. I wonder, when is the breaking point, or what is the breaking point? What's the breaking point for you guys listening and those who will be listening? A full circle journey and workbook. So clearly she has a workbook for you to follow. So she's not just leaving you hanging. She has a
Mm-hmm.
guide to help you. Her
Yeah.
most recent book is The Vows, a workbook for marriage, success, and understanding yourself in ushering couples and people desiring to be married into a deeper intimacy connection emotional healing, and living authentically, Michelle has helped over 500 couples stay together. No, she needs to work with me and live their best life. Welcome, Dr. Michelle Hanna, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. I love your introduction. I mean, I'm just like excited right now. You know, I need to take you everywhere with me.
Yes, I have that. Please put you on the shall put you on the schedule. Join the line. Take a number. Yes. I am just full of energy. Something that everybody says, and that's the way I live. I live authentically. Those who don't like it, well, you can keep walking.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. You can keep.
Yeah.
I'm doing me, and if you don't like it, well, no problem. Bye. So, Dr. Hannah, we're talking about divorce the fake self and marry the authentic you. Now, first to begin, there are some key things in there. The fake self. Now, the fake self, a lot of people don't realize that there is such a thing. And a fake self is also saying that there is another aspect or dimension to you. Because people see what they see with their physical eyes. They look in the mirror, they see themselves, they're walking around, they know their name. Hey, I'm Michelle, I'm Corine. You know, you work here, you have a title, a position, you have children, you know, people in the community, you're involved in church, you know, the typical things. But they don't know that there's something deeper underlying that. And I gather that's what you're communicating when you say the fake self. So you need to explain to persons what is this fake self before you can even, because you have to acknowledge that before you can even say, I need to divorce it. So which means which means you're saying you're married to this fake self and you don't even know it. You're married to this fake self that you don't even know and recognize. And so what, you know, in order to divorce it, you need to know it in order to get to the authentic you. Am I correct in what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So help us to understand. I'm going to leave you to talk now since I spoke so much in the earlier part. I'm going to leave you to do the talking and then interject when it's necessary. So you go ahead.
Okay. All righty. So when we are speaking of divorcing the fake self, we have to revisit our past first. So what I mean by that is we have to then look at our self-concept, how we perceive ourselves, and our self-belief. So for example, when you are born up into about age 7 is when your self-concept is being developed. So that self-concept can be negative, it could be positive. So who do we really get our self-concept from when we're that young? From parents, from our teachers, from our aunts, from TV. And so because, of course, we love our parents, we respect our parents and our teachers, it's so important about what our parents and teachers are pouring into us, because it really connects to how we start to perceive ourselves. And then that connects to us starting to believe it. So, for example, my mom used to tell me, you have to be better, twice as better than anybody else. And so for me, at my 5-year-old self, that translated for me into I wasn't good enough. So anything that I would, you know, try goals or positions in, you know, trying to get a job or school or relationships, I would come into that thinking I am not good enough. So I have to like stress and have all this energy that I'm now intentionally putting into the world that I got to be better than the next person. Where is the confidence in that? Where is the individuality in that? Where is the love, the self-love in that? Where's the self-care of that? Because that can be quite taxing and very stressful.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to really go through a journey of first being aware, like you said in the beginning, first being aware of this. And then I had to ask myself, like, but who am I? What do I really like about myself? Do I really believe some of the things that I thought that, yep, I'm committed to that belief? Do I really believe that? Is that really who I am? You know, am I really operating in truth? And, you know, the answer was alarming. I realized that I had a lot of fear and I had a lot of pain, and that I had not healed that 5-year-old self that I spoke about. So she would show up in everything thinking I'm not good enough. So once I was aware of that, I then had to lean into that fear and lean into that pain to really self-reflect and feel it and realize why I felt that way. And so half of the things that I was scared of, I wasn't even scared of. It was because maybe an aunt, maybe my mom, maybe my dad, you know, they were scared of that thing. And so therefore, they told me I was scared of it. And I believed it. So half of those things I really wasn't scared of. I was actually a risk taker, you know. My mom would say to people, she'd say, oh my gosh, she's so quiet. And as you can see, I am the opposite of quiet. You know, I definitely have a voice and I love it and I use it. But for so many years, it was not there. It was someone else's voice. And I also realized that I had this self-sabotage thing going on. So these are all the things that came up for me after I was aware. And then I had to lean in and be vulnerable. And that means that I had to be transparent. So I had to be honest with self. I had to have clear communication with self, clarity, no confusion. I understood what it was to feel confused. So I needed the opposite of that. I needed to be vulnerable, but I needed to feel safe. And I had to start feeling safe with me and trusting me first before I could even extend that to anyone else. And then what you talked about in the beginning is one of my favorite words, is authenticity. And the reason why it's one of my favorite words, because there's been such a journey to get there.
Yeah.
And authenticity to me is freedom. It's freedom. It is feeling not paralyzed in any way in my thinking, in my movement, in my feeling. It's just the most beautiful thing to absolutely go through the process to get to. And when you feel it and you connect to it, in that moment, you make the commitment. I am now deleting everything that does not serve me. So I am saying goodbye to the fake self. Thank you. I honor the space, but I am saying goodbye because I don't need you in my life anymore. And I am ready to marry and commit to authenticity for the rest of my life until I take my last breath in this physical realm. So that is how my journey on getting to authenticity. And what I found is that, you know, I didn't go to dinner by myself. I didn't go to the movies by myself. I didn't travel by myself. And it's interesting on how you want to do all these things with someone else, whether that's friends, whether that's a significant other, but you don't even hang out with you. So when I started to do that, you know, like, I'm like, this is really good. Like, I love eating with me. I love having fun with me. I love going shopping with me because no one's rushing me. I can stay how long I want to or how short I want to, you know, and traveling, you know. My mom would always say, don't travel by yourself. It's dangerous, right? And so I wouldn't travel by myself. Now, there is some truth, you know, in that. So you definitely have to be safe when you do that, but that should not stop you, because if you're always waiting on someone, you could be waiting for like 10 years for
That's
someone
right.
to finally say, I want to go wherever you want to go
Oh,
with me,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in
Yeah,
going down the,
which holds back your goals, your dreams, your desires. You know,
yes,
you were saying so
yes,
many things. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing my life story in what you're saying. And
yes,
I'm sure that anyone listening to this can hear their own life story. And a couple of serious nuggets you made mention of. Our parents, we, you know, when you become of a certain age and we discover and we start asking these questions at a particular point in our life. I can't say somebody might ask that at age 16, they might be more aware at that point. Somebody may ask it at age 40 or 50. They might become aware at that point. We cannot say specifically it's going to happen to you at this age or that age. It requires an open-mindedness and a submissiveness to allow awareness to happen to you. But until
yes,
then, you are under control. You are still under the control and limiting beliefs of your parents, the society, the media, the church, you know, etc. And you know, it's you would want to when you become aware, you would want to blame your parents. You get upset. You go through that angry phase. They could have done better. They should have done better. See what they created? Well, I had no choice. I was just a child. I couldn't. I didn't have a say. But you have to forgive, and forgiveness is a hard thing, but it is really for you, it's not for them. You have to forgive and release and let go and realize they are doing what their parents did to them, so they didn't know better. You are in a space, in a time where you can become aware. They probably are still not aware because they're still programmed to be that way. And so when you now coming to say you want to go to the movies by yourself or you want to go shopping, they're like, what, are you crazy? No, don't go to the supermarket by yourself, don't go to the movie. They're still saying and putting out the fears, and they would look at you like, don't resist me, child, I'm talking to you, I'm still your mother. And you know, they would still push that agenda with it. You know, and I could tell you, dating yourself, which is what I call it, dating yourself, whether going to the supermarket or to the movies, you start to feel the fear. I am yet, and I said to my promise myself, I'm going to take myself to the movies. I need to do that. I have no problem sitting and eating alone. I've done it. Not necessarily, I'm trying to think if I've ever done it in a major restaurant. You know, sitting in a fast food is a different experience from actually making a booking and say, I am coming to have dinner, and you dress up and you go. It's a different feeling, it's a different thing. So you need to do that. Dress up, call in, make a reservation, and say, I am coming there. And the person who is going to wait on you might say, where is your person? Because it's expected that you should have company. Do these things. Go to the movie for yourself. You're going to start to feel the fears coming up, and you'll be like, why am I so fearful to go to the movies? You need to start asking why. Where is it coming from? And you would realize if you go deep, deep, deep back to the five, even in epigenetics, back in your womb, you know, back in the womb of your parents, you're going to start feeling all these fears, which you obviously have no control over. So forgive yourself and forgive your parents. It's not a matter just the parents, but forgive you. Because we go through, I look at the animals and I always refer to them every time. The animals don't self-torture. They don't do things or they see things happen to their children and say, I'm going to come back and get you. I'm going to hold it against you. They move along. They move along. But if we do something, that mistake lives on, lives on. The mind works against you. Your ego, that false self, comes at you and say, you should have done so and so, beating you over with a stick, you know, beating you over for years and years. You're tortured, you're tortured, you're tortured. Why? Why? Why, Dr. Hannah? You know, why? I want you to be able to share some tips with persons as to how, I mean, you shared your story and I appreciate it because I'm sure it resonates, but how did you really take a grasp? I'm sure it wasn't easy and it took time, and we're not encouraging people to probably jump in the deep end, although, hey, sometimes that's a better approach, just jump in the deep end. But what were the steps you took over those years? And it's a work in progress. What are the steps you took to take you to this point where you are so free, you are so authentic in your life that you're deleting people? You're deleting people, you're blocking people, you're saying, I don't need you. I don't need this anymore, and walking away. That in itself is a fear, because I need my friends. What am I without them? You know, I'm fearful to let go. I can't function. How do you do it?
So you spoke about forgiveness, and that was really key for me at the foundation. That was something that I really struggled with, because I was angry going through this process. I was angry at my mom, and I was angry at my dad. And you know, I didn't even have room at that moment for compassion and going deeper with, you know, the relationship that they had with their parents. And I truly believe that they did the best that they could do, and that in terms of their capacity. And although I absolutely love, you know, my parents, I did have to realize that there were some things that they thought that they were doing the best. And I respect that, but it wasn't the best for me and my development, just some of the things. And I did 21 days of forgiveness, forgiving everybody, everything, every emotion, every pain, the shame, the blame, but most of all, forgiving myself. Because that's actually the most unforgiveness that I had, was with myself. And I did that for 21 days, and it was intense, and it was so emotional. But that was where I started. I started with the 21 days of just forgiveness, because what that did is, because I knew that I was emotionally constipated, and it started to clear out those stuck emotions. And it was painful, and it wasn't fun. And there was days that I just wanted to go back to being the fake self. Like, in my mind, I was like, you know what? It's just easier to be I'll just keep on autopilot, and that's what my life will be. But there was something that was so much greater in me. I call it my core, my spirit, that was like tugging at me and pulling me, like, no, you got to stay with this. Because obviously, if what you were doing was working, you wouldn't even be here in this moment. So there was a pause for a reason. You know, there was some trauma for a reason, so that now you got my attention, and now I am aware. So that was the first thing, is forgiveness. The second thing was the surrender. I really had to surrender to the process. I had to submit. And I had to literally fight against the ego every single day, because my ego was so strong at that point. And so now it's wonderful, because my authentic self is so strong. So even when the ego, you know, comes and tries to stick its dirty, ugly head up, you know, I then at that point, I have to literally, I stop everything that I'm doing, and then I have to talk to myself, the positive talk that I have to do. I have to say, I am beautiful inside and out, up, down, around. I am beautiful. I am fearless. I am full of courage. I wow myself over and over again. I can give myself a do-over every single morning. I wake up in the morning, and it is like a rebirth, and the slate is clean. And I start all over again, because I have to fill me up before I could extend that to someone else. So I would say to your listeners is to absolutely give yourself a do-over every day, because that is a point of forgiveness. That's a point of releasing everything that happened the day before or even within the last moment. And in terms of, and also too, the other step I had to do was to delete and reset. And the resetting is that I had to have a shift in my mind. So I had to delete everyone and everything that does not serve me. Now, let me just say this. Sometimes in deleting, it may just be for a season, because maybe that person needs time to grow and to evolve. And maybe you need time to grow and to evolve. And then maybe you will meet at another part in the journey. And then there's some people that really, they just don't serve you at all. And that's it. That's a lifetime delete, and they move on and they go on with their lives. And then you're thankful for whatever they have served, and you go on with your life. Now, in the reset, that's in where you have to really have the mind shift. And it has been one of the most difficult things, is to reprogram my thinking and my limited beliefs that you spoke about. So I do that through journaling, through scripting, through disconnecting from toxicity, whatever that is. Even if the toxic one is me, sometimes I have to disconnect from things in myself to then reconnect. And also is something that's so important to me, which is self-intimacy. So instead of always focusing on someone else giving you a hug, or, you know, giving you a pat on the back, or being your cheerleader and, you know, telling you great job and I'm proud of you, all of those things are so wonderful. That's what connects to real relationship. However, the self relationship with self, I have to do that for me. So in the morning when I wake up, I give myself such a big, big hug. And what that says is that I'm here for you, girl. I'm not leaving you. I am here when you wake up. I'm here when you go to sleep. I'm here through lunch and everything that you go through in between. I'm here for you. So based on that, you know, that is really, really important in the journey. And lastly, I want to say, there's so many years ago that when I began this journey, is that I ended up taking my self vows. And what that is the traditional wedding vows. I have a very unique way of looking at that, on how we take those vows to ourselves. So I have a book, The Self Vows, which will be released by the end of the year. We're, you know, crossing our fingers by the end of the year. And so, for example, to have and to hold.
Hold that thought, Michelle. Let me switch to your website. While you're talking about that, let me bring up a page. Give me a second here. Tell me your website.
Is Michelle, MICHELLER, and then HANNAH.com.
All right, I got it. So let me, while you're talking, I can do a share of that so that people can see. Here we go. Yeah, so keep going now. You're telling me about your upcoming book, and I want you to mention the other one.
Yes, so the self vows, 7 vows that will change your life, will be coming out at the end of the year. So with the self vows, for example, to have and to hold from this day forward. So do you have everything about yourself today, in this moment, bad, good, or indifferent? Do you have everything about yourself? I'm not saying that you don't evolve and that you don't grow, but in this moment, let's focus on who you are, you know, and I have to love myself regardless of all the other things that come with being me. To hold, do I support myself? Am I my own cheerleader, or am I looking for someone to define the greatness in me? So, you know, to move forward, am I stuck? Am I stuck in the past? Am I stuck in blame? Am I stuck in shame? Or am I ready to move forward, to have and to hold from this day forward? I have to take that vow first to myself. You know, to in sickness and in health, for richer, for poor, for better, for worse, to love and to cherish to
You
death
know,
do my part.
I'm going to say something here. I have never thought. Let me think before I say that. No, it has never occurred to me to take a vow to myself. And I love the idea of taking a vow to myself. I think I've taken vows in different ways. Like, for example, which I would call boundaries. I would call them boundaries. That's a sort of vow that I will not allow certain people to do this, or I would not allow anybody to do me this, or I would not allow myself, or I would not give permission, things like that. But for you to use the vows of marriage to make a vow to yourself, your authentic self, I think that is a fabulous approach, because we commit to it so much in the marriage to a man.
Yes.
And we forget, because we give, to someone else without thinking about ourselves.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
sacrifice. And we need to marry ourselves first. We need to love ourselves first. We need to give to ourselves first, because what are we teaching somebody else to do to us if we don't even teach ourselves what we want, or the standards that we expect to be met? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to say, with that, in taking those vows to myself and maintaining that and executing that, because it's more than just taking the vow, it's actually being very intentional, about the vows. So there then came a self-vows women retreat. And if your listeners go on my IG page, which is Michelle_R_Hannah, they will be able to go to IGTV and look at the self-vows video. And with that being said, once they see the video, it is just such an amazing feeling, because it's 3 days and 2 nights where women get together and we go through an entire process about taking the self-vows. And so by the second night, we have this big ceremony, and it is amazing, because women that maybe have not even ever been married and all they were focusing on is the dress and the wedding, they start to realize that, oh my gosh, like I wanted to, wear this white wedding dress, and I wanted to, have the ring and all the things that come with the wedding. So when they start to walk down that aisle, it is so for them. It's not for anybody else. So when they say those vows for the first time, it's like, you know what? I've been waiting so long for someone else to come along and be the one so I can take these vows to someone else, but I could take these vows to myself. And I wore this dress for me. Oh my gosh, I literally have just chills right now. I mean, because it makes me so emotional to think about the shift that happens on their face. So I invite anyone that is interested, please go to my website. It's under it's on the screen now, the Self-Vows Women Retreat, and just go there. You can, click on the link and you can send me your information, and I will call you personally, because this retreat will absolutely change your absolute life, and I'm so passionate about it, as you can hear.
I can hear you. I know, and it means a lot to me, and I would thoroughly encourage anybody to go to the retreat. It is important for you to take the time out for yourself. We are here, like I said, especially as women, mothers, etc., daughters, we are giving. We are trained and programmed to give. Yes? And we are not trained and programmed to give to ourselves, because it is seen as selfish. It is seen as selfish. How could you give to you? How could you spend time on you? How could you go to the spa? How could you say you love yourself? What do you mean about hugging yourself in the morning? Are you crazy? Why are you talking to yourself like that and kissing yourself in the mirror and adoring who you are? Why? You should be giving that to me, which is the other person. Right? No. It starts with me. It starts with me. And if I don't know how to treat me, you wouldn't know how to treat me. I wouldn't know how to set boundaries. And if I don't know how to treat me, you wouldn't know how to set boundaries. And it's just, it
Yes.
becomes a vicious cycle. So I'm sorry, if you can't recognize that and the standards, you just gotta keep walking, brother. Keep walking.
Yes. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. And it's okay. And you know,
Yes.
they think that you're suffering, and your family may think, oh, she'll never get a man, she'll never get married, she'll never have my grandchildren. Keep walking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just love it. I love what you said,
Yeah,
because
keep
that is so
walking.
true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because we are children of God. We are queens. We are queens, Michelle. We are
Yes.
queens.
Yes.
Every time I think of this thing, listen to me, you think you're passionate? Every time I think of myself, I'm like, I'm a queen. I am not going to
Yes.
succumb to that behavior. I am not going to succumb to this. I am not going to stand for that. You are not going to be given permission to do so by so. And whether you like it or not, no matter what you say, I don't care. It
That's
does.
right.
You know, and there's something called delete and block on my phone. It's pretty easy to use. I know how to use it.
Right.
You know, and anybody who don't know, I can send them a quick video tutorial on how to use it, delete and block. It's pretty simple. Yeah, and anybody who wants to show off on me, you know, a man or anybody, woman or otherwise, I'd be like, no problem, I'm good. You know, I'm good. You'll be single all your life.
Yes.
You'll be single all your
Yes.
life, and they'll be flinging these threats and spiritual sort of things on you. I'll be like, that's okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
That's
good.
right. That's
Right?
right.
I'm good. No matter what I'm good. I'm good by myself. I love being in the silence. I
Yes.
love going out by myself. I love taking how many hours in the supermarket, talking to people in the aisle, talking to the goods on the shelf, deciding if I want this or that. I am good.
That's right. That's right. But
Right?
you know, you said something that was so important, and you said that we were not trained and taught to really love self and
Yeah.
self-care as we're supposed to do.
Mhm.
And I think that that has a lot to do with it, because if you don't really know to do that and you haven't been taught to do that, it actually seems kind of foreign. And when you now know that you need to do that, that you owe yourself that, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
you have to give to yourself before you can even serve anybody else. And once you realize that, you realize how backwards like the thinking you know, was at one particular time. It's like, oh wow, I was thinking that I shouldn't do that because that's selfish, and that you should just always give yourself to someone else.
Yeah.
And but what sense does that make? Like, I'm going to give myself to someone else and then I don't give myself to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
No. Somehow the maths in that doesn't work out very well. I don't know. The maths just don't work out, you know, and I don't know. I mean, but let me tell you, you know, we're talking about this now. It doesn't come immediately, but it is our responsibility that as aware persons and at our age and stage in life to help as many people as possible, to help the young women coming up to
Yes.
become authentic, to help the young men to be authentic and to know how to treat a woman, and for a woman to
Yes.
know how to treat a man, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, how to communicate. Because if once both individuals are authentic, there shouldn't be any rife or struggle or fight or, you know, distance, because there would be such a higher level of understanding that each person would recognize and
Yes.
respect each other on that level. That there would be such a
Absolutely.
willingness to compromise and understand. And compromise don't mean you have to give up anything. It means that you respect the
Right.
person so much that you respect their boundaries. You love them for who they are because you met them that way. So when people say compromise, they look at it as a negative. Oh, I have to give up something. No, you don't have to give up anything. You may probably have to give up your pride, which is part of the false self, and your ego. You have to put that aside. You may have to give up your own, let's say, convictions of those limiting beliefs, because where those convictions came from, your parents. So you have to
Mhm.
recognize that as an aware being and put it aside and say, you know what? Ego, you take a seat over there. Pride, you go over on that side. Limiting beliefs, you just kneel
Mhm.
down right there. You know,
Mhm.
and you have to put
Mhm.
aside everybody, give them their space and say, I'm coming to you, my wife, my spouse, my girlfriend, authentically. I'm willing to listen to you.
Mhm.
I respect you. I honor you. You're my queen. And it's the same thing the woman do to the man, right? So we have
Yes,
to come into
absolutely.
that, we have to come into that space. And it's not only a matter of woman-man relationships. It could be work relationships. It could be any type of relationship. Walking on the street, going into
Mhm.
a supermarket, dealing with a cashier or teller, it doesn't matter. We have to be able to be authentic and real. And recognize that when things are not resonating and in alignment with our spirit, we walk away. We have to be strong enough to walk away and say, you know what? Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the time that you spent in my life, but this is not for me. And be willing to turn your back, do like Sodom and Gomorrah, keep walking and don't turn back.
Absolutely. And you know, you said something that triggered something for me, which is if more people showed up in their authentic self, which is the truth of you, then less people would feel like they've been lied to and you have now taken their choice away.
Yeah.
Because when you lie, I might have made another decision had I known the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But I made this decision based off of a lie. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm a part of something that is a lie, which then starts a domino
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
Instead of, if people just showed up in their truth,
Truth.
then people would
Simple.
be very clear and not confused.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do the right thing, Michelle. Do the right thing. Gosh.
Yes,
Do the right
absolutely.
thing. It's pretty
Mm,
simple. Speak the truth. Be honest. It doesn't matter if it hurts me, yes or no. Just say it, and the
mhm.
chips fall where they may. We deal with it.
Right.
Gosh, wow, Michelle
Yeah.
Hannah, this is a work in progress. It never ends. It never ends.
It never ends.
It never.
It's like, you know what? Authenticity is not a destination.
No.
Oh my gosh, it is a journey.
Yes, even if you see the sign at the end of a so-called road, and you see you've reached authenticity, you see a track that takes you somewhere else.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. You could never arrive. You could
No.
never arrive. It's no, listen to me. It's a struggle. It's
Hmm.
a struggle. It's not easy, Michelle. I am living it.
No.
You are living it. So
Yeah,
anyone listening to this, we are not sugarcoating. We're not putting no icing on the cake, and we're not putting the cherry on top. It's
that's right.
not easy, but let me tell you, it's beautiful on the other side.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh, yes.
It's beautiful on the other side. When you get that freedom, when you feel that freedom and you can be who you are, you
Mhm.
can put your hair pink, you can shave half of your head, you can decide this is how I want to dress. You don't care who says what. Ah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just do you. You don't want to go in a job, you want to start your own business, you do that. You wake up whatever time you feel like. You go to bed whatever time you feel like. You just, yeah, yeah.
Freedom.
Freedom,
Hmm.
freedom,
Yes.
freedom. Dr. Michelle Hanna, we had a wonderful, I don't know, enlightening discussion.
Yes.
And
Such a wonderful.
yes,
Hmm.
wonderful discussion. Your 7 vows retreat, I wish you all the best. Your upcoming book, you clearly need to
Thank
come back
you.
on. You need to come back on Between the Lines.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
am threatening you. You need to come back on Between the
For sure, for sure, for sure. Oh
Yes,
my gosh.
I
Yes. And
would
hopefully
love.
one day I can visit
Yes.
Trinidad. Like
Oh
hopefully
yes,
one day.
yes,
Yes. It's
yes.
so beautiful.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. And I want you to reach as many young women, I know that's your target audience, as well as men, because we can't leave them out. People who need help,
Yes,
need help.
yes,
People who need help.
absolutely. Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
because vows is not just for women, it's for men. It's for all of
Yes,
us.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want us to be able to get this out to as many people as possible. We both have a responsibility to send the message out, to prepare as many people, to let people know freedom is on the other side. It's there for the taking. Grab it and run with it. Don't turn back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle Hanna, for
Thank
thinking out
you.
between the lines.
Thank you. It's been good.
It's always been good.